Hello, everyone. Today I've got something to talk about. I figured I would make a video like this because I want to talk about RuneScape bonds, and I really couldn't think of any backing images or anything like that. So I decided to do this. I don't have a very good camera thingy, so most likely my voice is going to look like it's lagging a little bit, and I apologize for that, but this is just trying this out, seeing how it is. Anyway, let's move on to the topic. So we are going to talk about the update that was mentioned today, RuneScape bonds. Now, I imagine that this is a very controversial topic. I've been looking around a little bit, YouTube videos and forums and stuff like that, and it seems kind of split, whether people like it or not. So I figured I'd talk a little bit about my opinion and go over, I've got a list of some pros and cons to talk about. I don't have as many cons as I would like, and that's because I don't have time to research this as much as I would like to, because I obviously have other things to do in my life. But I'll talk about this anyway. So first off, my opinion is that I support RuneScape bonds. I think it's a good update, and I'm going to explain to you why. So first, I'll go through some of the pros. I do like the idea that you can use your money to buy membership, your in-game money to buy membership. I think that's pretty cool. Or spins, or Solomon. I don't really care about spins and Solomon, but they're there, so whatever. But being able to buy membership is cool. I think it'll allow more free-to-play players who maybe have a bunch of money but lack the sufficient IRL funds to actually be a member. So I hope that's available to some people, and I think it's cool that you can gift people membership this way. I know maybe I could get some friends to actually play, or some of my friends who used to play don't play anymore or whatever, to play a little bit, because I could give them membership with through a bond that I just bought with some RuneScape coins, or RuneScape GP. So I think that's pretty cool. Also, I believe that this is going to lead to a better economy, because while this is selling GP, which it is, I mean, it may seem like it's an interesting way of doing it, but it is selling GP, and I'll touch on that more. But what it's doing is gold farmers, what they do is they gather a bunch of a resource or gather a bunch of something, and it's just putting a bunch of items into the game. This way, people can get money without putting money into the game or any more resources into the game, which means it's not going to screw with the economy, which I think is wonderful. The only thing is that more people, perhaps this way, will have more money, which could affect prices in some way, but I'm not an expert in that, so I don't really know. But yeah. Less items in the game, I touched on that. The other thing I think about this, and this is controversial too, is the fact that people will be able to get items and money for skills without investing the time into the game that they would have had to before, because they can afford the most expensive or efficient ways to train a skill, or can just buy an item. Like I saw in the in my client chat earlier today, someone was like, "Oh, so I can buy Dragors for $57," and I'm just like, "Oh, that's interesting." Now, the thing that I think is good about this is not everyone has the time to invest a bunch of time into the game, but they still might want to play. And I think this way, say you want, I mean, obviously you'll still have to train. I mean, you can't get around that. But if you want, like, I don't know, like a God Sword or something to go to Bandos God Wars or something, and you're a lower level, and you don't have the time to sit there and make the money for the God Sword, but instead you can just buy a bond and then buy the God Sword, and then that saves you the time to do that. And I think that's cool, because I think it'll allow people to be able to enjoy the game more that can't play as much. And I don't have a problem with that. I mean, I know that people don't like to see the game getting easier in any way, because it devalues what they've already done. I mean, and I can kind of speak on that level. I mean, I've played this game a lot, but it doesn't bother me if someone does something in an easier way, because all I can think is, wow, I wish I could have done that, because then I wouldn't have wasted as much time working on X. Not that I think playing the game's a waste. I've enjoyed every minute of it. But yeah, and I think I'm going to touch on that a little bit more too when I get to the cons. Your work for membership, cool. Already touched on that. Now, this is interesting too. In that video they released today, they said that on a monthly basis, 40 to 50% of players were buying RuneScape GP. Now that is disturbing. That just means that there's a lot of people who aren't working for what they want. Now, it could be a made-up statistic, and you could make it some conspiracy, but if you live your life thinking everything's a conspiracy, you're not going to be a very happy person. But what I wanted to touch on with this is the fact that there's that many people still buying coins, even though bots and stuff have been taken down a bunch. It just means that Jagex really wasn't really sure what to do about it. I mean, that's half of their community. What do you do? So I think their response to it, or the bond's response to that, is a way that they can take it away from the real world traders, or take it away from the gold farming sites, without killing their game. Because obviously, even though they do all this stuff, there's still all these people buying things. So I think it's important for the longevity of the game to have this in it. I mean, I don't want to see the game die, and I mean, you can all see it already. There's less and less and less and less and less and less and less people playing. I don't think there's been a spike in people playing for a long time. In that sense, free trade came in and maybe some stuff in between there. But the game has been slowly, kind of dying away, which happens to games. And I think eventually it will happen. I hope not, but I think this is important for the longevity of the game. It'll allow people to be able to get more stuff and enjoy the game more, hopefully. I think that at least that's the idea. And I think that people are going to be more likely to buy this from Jagex versus other sites. Not always, because when I get into the cons, I'll talk about how gold farmers can just lower their price. But I think people will feel safer buying from Jagex. I know I haven't personally bought gold, but I know that when I buy something online, even if a site is a little more expensive, I tend to go for the more well-known or legitimate site because I feel safer spending my money there. So I think that'll happen in this case too. And if it happens in this case, that means that it'll hopefully demotivate farmers or gold farmers to farm items and put more and more and more and more gold into the game, and people will just buy the bonds, which doesn't affect the economy in that way. So that's what I'm hoping anyway. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about the cons. So first off is the big ethical thing about real world trading. Sorry, I can talk. This is selling gold. I mean, there's no dodging the bullet. They're selling gold in this way, which is messed up. I will admit that. I don't like that. But the fact of the matter is that it's already happening. And from their statistic of 40 to 50% players real world trading, it means that they haven't been able to do anything about it. So if they don't have anything to do, what do you do? I mean, obviously, I think the real trading aspect is still an evil, but I still think that it was the decision that had to be made. But yeah, real trading is bad, but the real question is, what do you do? So, yeah, without killing the game. Because we know through the removal of free trade originally, the amount of people, they're removing a free trade and PKing, not PKing, but how PKing was, really killed a huge portion of the people who played RuneScape. And I'm feeling that even though free trade was a good solution to that, it's going to really hurt the game, and we don't really want to see that happening. So now this is the other thing I want to talk about, devaluing your work. Now, this is hard for me to completely be able to understand. Yes, I've spent a lot of time on the game. I mean, I had a completionist cape before Divination came out, working on getting that back. But if someone, like, for example, like, I look at people, like, way up on the high scores. Now, I don't really care about getting a bunch of experience, which is why I can't completely understand this point, but I do want to bring it up. If someone can buy or use their real-life money to get an edge on you in that competition, then I would agree that that's wrong. And that's kind of what's going to happen, or what can happen from this. So that's messed up. I'm not going to talk anymore about that, though, because I don't completely understand it, but I definitely want to get that point out there. Now, the other thing I saw a lot on the forums was that gold sellers will just lower their price. And the truth is that based on how the value of the bonds, or how much the bonds become worth, that yeah, they'll have to in order to keep up. And then people will just get gold for cheaper, which I think could happen. I mean, I don't really know exactly how this is going to play out. Hopefully the bonds will lower in price along with that in game, and it'll eventually even out. And I think either way, though, it's going to discourage and make it harder for gold farmers to do what they're doing. So I think it'll work out. Do I really know? No, but it's what I think. So the real answer to this, and the real answer is that I don't know. I'm not completely sure if it's good or bad, and it's really hard to be completely sure ever. But I do believe that it's better to have an opinion, whether it's good or bad, than not have an opinion at all. Because not having an opinion on either side, I mean, it just sits there in limbo and doesn't do anything. So that's why I'm kind of taking a stance. But we'll see what happens, and I really hope that this ends up being good for the economy. I mean, I think based on what I've seen, it will be, but the truth is we won't really know until it's been in the game for a while, and we'll really just have to see what happens. Anyway, so part of the discussion is, I know only a few people watch my videos, but I really want you guys to leave some stuff in the comments about how you feel about these bonds, because I think it's really important to discuss stuff like this, and I really want to hear you call me an idiot, tell me something's a good idea, tell me something's a bad idea, because I want to know where my ideas might be flawed and where my ideas might be good. So please share and let me know. Anyway, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Also, if you enjoyed a video like this, being able to see me and talking about ethical stuff, let me know if you liked that. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Bye.